Yeah.
Hey, everybody. This is CR Game Room with our special guest, Ross.
Hi, Ross. Ooh, he's doing the bat
Greetings.
dance.
Yeah, bat dance. He had it in
Is
his
that what it
utility
is?
belt. Yeah.
The shark repellent.
Oh God.
So this week we're going to be talking about a few things. Basically, it's just a variety stream because we're just going with the craziness that is just like us doing stuff. So we got a few questions for Ross, but then we're just going to probably have a conversation. So is everyone cool with that? Too late. You're already on.
Oh.
Geez. Where's your
Oh no,
phone?
I'm out. I'm out.
This was not on the DNA agreement there,
You know what we don't have
DNA?
on this list?
or DNC.
What
We,
do
we don't have anything to do with the one shot on this list here for the live stream.
Oof, that was my bad.
We'll riff. We'll riff.
Okay.
So
It was great.
Thanks.
Thank you. We didn't even ask you about that in the pre-production. What you thought of that?
No, as a pure spectator. So like usually those Saturday tournaments, I'm like, man, Saturday it comes and it goes. You know, I usually have at least something scheduled that like busts up the day. But the one shot, the most recent, it was like, well, what am I doing today? I guess I'm gonna watch Dice Masters all morning. It's gonna be awesome. So from a full spectator standpoint, it was fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
Nice. We did our best. I tried at least.
We tried to mimic the Ross energy when commentating.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
No, we didn't. We didn't at all.
We
Ross's
gave a valiant
energy.
effort.
Ross's energy's here. Our energy is like it's kind of below the scene. You can't really see it, but it's
But
there.
There's like at least a handful of you in the call at once. You know, it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Actually-
kind of hard to juggle.
yeah.
I actually appreciate that though. Like bouncing ideas off someone else, like co-commentator, priceless, absolutely priceless. So
Well, I mean, you and DM Ramada did it so famously well on the Worlds, and you guys did a really great job on that. And
appreciate that.
it was, I mean, everyone's got to step their
Hey.
game up from that. And we luckily have someone that was part of the crew, a part of the channel, so it's a little bit easier for us. But yeah, you guys did a great job.
Shout outs to Monkey 1985, otherwise known as Carl.
So,
yeah.
Tuning in
Carl.
from the UK,
Yeah,
all
we
the way from
got
across the pond.
Mel Amersy. Said it right.
Yeah.
Carl in the chat here. Got 8 viewers too. Hello, everybody. Thanks for
Man,
stopping by.
Ross, do you think you can be on all of our streams from now?
For real.
'Cause,
Give us
I tweeted it out to all of my 8 followers on Twitter.
Nice.
That's why there's so
Nice.
many.
There you go.
If only we
Yeah.
had a social media guy to tweet these things.
Oh, come on, man. Speaking of which, I did my due diligence earlier, but I didn't do it right now. So let me do that right now.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, give us a likes for Ross. It rhymes in my mind.
Someone.
Yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe.
There you go. Click
Oh,
that little
Follow
bell
the
for
Twitch channel
notifications.
while you're at it.
Wow.
Yeah,
So-
there it is.
So if you don't know who Ross is, Ross has WDA, which is Weekly Dice Arena. If you're looking to play Dice Masters during the week on a Tuesday,
On a Tuesday.
tune into his Twitch channel, and he is more than happy to have you join him, and encourages people just to join and have fun, because that's really what playing Dice Masters is all about. If I'm butchering anything that you have about your Twitch thing, just go ahead and jump in and just save me.
Smack him down, Ross. Don't be scared.
Yeah,
He loves it.
Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. Anybody can play. I usually devise some sort of format for the week that involves how you either have to build your team or play your team, or randomly lose life. It goes back and forth between competitive and less competitive formats. So it's generally a great time, whether you're gonna view or play or whatever you like. We're there for you.
Nice. And marbles. You have marbles for everyone.
I mean, physically, no. But yes, if you've ever played or seen, which I feel like, so this is sort of a repetition wave of explaining Twitch to people, right? So when I first started streaming Dice Masters on Twitch, I would have to explain what Twitch was to these people. Well, your watch people play video games. It's like, oh, all right, it's a terrible explanation, but that's what it is. And now I feel like explaining marble races to people is the next impossible task. But in between each round of Dice Masters, we do a race of marbles. It is exactly what it sounds like. Every person in the chat has a marble assigned to them. We drop them all in the top of the Rube Goldberg machine. They plinko their way down, and eventually someone wins up at the bottom first. It's a good time.
Okay. You're just a glutton for making things impossible to explain by doing things. It seems like.
It's like, what obscure things can we stream and then have to explain to people later what they actually mean?
It's
I
my
feel like
favorite thing to
nowadays-
do.
I feel like nowadays, if you get anybody that's asked you what Twitch is, you should probably look at them and be like, "Okay, boomer."
Yeah.
Wow.
It's what
Well,
you.
Wow. Way to divide the audience,
Yeah.
Joe. Jeez.
But
Like
like,
trying to get a quip in there.
YouTube is such a medium for every outlet, right? Like if you're looking up how to change a light bulb, you can search YouTube. Like you would not search Twitch for
No,
how to
you
change
wouldn't.
a light bulb. So it's so parallel but so different at the same time.
Yeah. But I feel as though they kind of work hand in hand with each other because so many people that stream on Twitch have a YouTube channel that's mildly successful. But then there's a lot of people that have super successful YouTube channels that have very mildly successful Twitch channels. So you're going to be super successful in one or mildly successful in one, or just like us, be not successful in either and just be here.
Yeah.
By us, he meant the
We
gamer,
exist.
not you, Ross.
Yeah.
No, I feel like I fall in the exact same category of like, we're here, we play dice every Tuesday night, regardless of what the fan base looks like, and we all have a good time, you know?
Yeah. If we were trying to grow a channel, we definitely would not be doing Dice Masters or anything like that.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the heart, you know, it's really about the heart.
Yeah. And you also are you going to try to do Fridays every now and then, or is your producer allowed you to do more than just a Friday here and there?
Well, that's a great question. Stream manager Nikki, also known as my wife, she loves marbles and she is totally down. And it's sort of I don't know. I would say streaming more nights of the week would be beneficial for the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Streaming more nights of the week would be not beneficial for my marriage and social life. So in the awkward balance that is life, especially while quarantine's going on and our social life is definitely cut, I will say Friday nights are looking good. Speaking of this Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, we are going to do marbles on the stream. But I cannot say that that's going to be a rolling commitment going forward. Tuesday nights, absolutely. That has been on the calendar for a long time, but I can't commit to adding Fridays as a long-term solution.
So what you're saying is it might be a quarantine staple, but not necessarily beyond that.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know which articles you guys have read, but I've heard that COVID-19 is afraid of marbles. It's sort of a phobia type thing.
That's
so
what I've heard.
For the well-being of the 12 or 14 people that tune into the stream.
28, sir. 28. I've seen you have 28 in there on that Friday stream. It gets lit on Fridays.
It does get pretty lit. I agree.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to sound like a boomer right now, or a youngster, a kid.
A zoomer.
Hello, fellow kids.
Exclamation point lit in the chat right now.
Oh man. All right.
So, you spoke a little bit about when you started it. You had to explain what Twitch was, and I know we talked about it during the pre-show, but maybe you can go over your origins once more for those who weren't listening to the MOD podcast. In case you did, give your backstory there.
Ooh, origin story.
The streaming origins is that,
Yes.
or when a man loves a woman very much.
I mean, yeah.
Your streaming origins.
The before time.
So I started streaming Super Smash Brothers with my roommates in college in 2012. So 2012 started the Twitch channel. It was 100% a Super Smash Brothers channel. We played Project M, and it was a good time. Twitch was sort of on the rise at that point. It had not been bought by larger companies. There weren't as many rules. You could, it was just a place to be. And so I was just casually doing that after classes in college, and it was really cool. I think the dynamic of having all my roommates there was super beneficial. It wasn't just a single personality. It was multiple people that you could either root for or hate. I definitely had a roommate that loved being the hated person on the stream. There were a couple spams in the chat of ruthless aggression towards this one person, which was really, really fun. So that was cool. That's right. You got to have a villain in your story. So I streamed some Smash. That's right. All right, let's start a poll right now. Who's the villain of the CR Game Room?
There's no question. It's Joe.
And so we kept that up. It was super casual. I wasn't on a schedule or anything, but the channel was growing and Twitch was growing at the same time. So I was sort of riding the front edge of that wave, and big channels like Video Game Bootcamp and Smash Studios, I was sort of like pretending to be as popular as they are, or they were. And then this thing called grad school happened, where I had to do this thing called student teaching. And it really just wrecked. Well, first off, all my roommates didn't go to grad school. So it was just me left with the channel. And I had way more responsibilities at that point in grad school. And the channel just sort of fell to the wayside, which is a shame, because some days I look back and I'm like, man, what if I just kept to the grind? Would I even need grad school? But that's maybe. So it fell off pretty heavily there. And then, years later, I was like, I think I'm gonna stream. Like, it's gonna be cool. I mean, it's a really good time. It's fun. I like to entertain. I've never been on the quest to be the best person at a video game or whatever else. But I feel like if I can bring quality content in a different way or an exciting, entertaining way, then that's valuable to a certain portion of the viewers. So that was always my in. And I was like, I really love Dice Masters. Let's see what a stream of Dice Masters looks like. And again, if you search Dice Masters on YouTube, you find some archaic pieces of work from 2016 Nats, 2015 or 2016 Nats. Anyway, that's what sort of like was the baseline of the Dice Masters stream. And it streaming board games at that point, period, let alone Dice Masters, was fairly unheard of. People were not really doing these big 4K top-down shots of their like King of Tokyo board or whatever else. So it just sort of went from there, and the stream's growing. People are coming out to play. I think choosing a consistent night was huge for us, and just glad to be doing it. Just trucking along. Got invited to commentate at Worlds last summer, which was super huge, by WizKids. And that was a great time to go meet people that I had only otherwise known as their voice box, which was weird. Mike of CR Game Room, I met him at Nats, and he was like, Russ. And I was like, and he's like, it's Mike. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, until you see someone, like, if you've only ever heard someone, you don't even, it doesn't even click to you necessarily that they have a face, that they are a person, that they, so that was funny. And it sort of prepped me for the exact same thing happened at Worlds. In the hotel lobby, Matt Jourdain walks up to me and he's like, Ross! And I'm like,
who are you?
But he knew what was going on. He's like, here, I'll just keep talking and we'll see if you know who I am. I'm like,
well, you sound Canadian.
You sound like a dude. I didn't know. I wasn't on top of it at that point. But again, the stream's been growing from there. We're crawling up like you do when you stream Dice Masters, and it's a wild ride.
Yeah. Yeah, meeting people, like, because people see our faces and we're not even like, we're nothing. Like, and people are like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. Who are you? Just introduce yourself, please. I love to meet you.
Right.
Just let me know who you are.
Like, Chris, I've watched hours of your content, and you're like, I've watched none of your content.
You've watched more than me of my own content.
Yeah, Chris doesn't watch it. Yeah, same thing. Like I'm super shy, like in person. Like if I don't know somebody, I won't really approach them or talk to them. I have to talk to me, not just because I think I'm better than anyone. I'm just like weird about it. Like I don't, what if that's not really them? I'm gonna look like an idiot. So yeah, it was weird for me, but overall it was fun. Just getting to meet everybody and seeing who they were and stuff like that, and having fun playing Dice Masters was great. It was just, you're right, it's weird.
Yeah. But I feel like, all right, so quick plug for 2020 Worlds. I feel like if the exact same people came, it would just exponentially be more fun now that we have like broke the ice of like, oh, I've seen your face now. Cool. Like,
Yep.
you know, like all that's done with. Now we just play games and have a good time.
For sure. Agreed.
Hey, Joe, thank your wife for subscribing to our channel.
They say thank you for subscribing to the channel.
I don't know why it took 2 years, but you know.
hey.
It took her 2 years to start playing Commander with me.
Oh, well, you know what? That's good then.
Yeah.
That's good. We'll take it.
That's right.
So
I'm still riding. Hey, I'm still riding 3,000 followers on Twitch that I'll never see again from the Smash days. So
that's so huge.
Awesome.
Jesus.
That's a lot.
Don't you wish you could tap into that sometimes? You'd be like, yeah, I have 3,000 subscribers or
well,
followers.
it's funny. Like, so when you go live, right, it sends a notification to all your followers.
Mm-hmm.
However, since the beginning of Twitch, they have now allowed people to turn those notifications off, and it'll actually show you your numbers. So I looked the other day, and it was like, how many people reacted to your go live message or whatever, and it was like 4% or something like that of my current followers. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I looked down, and it was like only 9% of your followers even have your notifications turned on. And I was like, well, if they had them turned on, they'd obviously be here at Twitch. Okay. Tell me stuff that I don't know.
I mean, it's one of those things that's like very like, but then you just like, your channel's changed, everything's different. And that percentage that you get is actually people that want to be there with you, will be there with you no matter what. And so that's kind of where just seeing that number, it does look a little bit disheartening, but then you just know that, hey, there's 5% or so that actually care what the hell I do. So
yeah,
that's the way I would look at it.
And I think like the most motivating thing for me is not those numbers, it's the numbers of the people in the bracket every week. So like, you know, it's a real crusher when you come in and you're like, hey guys, we're live, it's Tuesday night, there's 2 people signed up to play tonight, and you're like, oh God. Like,
yeah.
But you know, those are the numbers that I feel like really hit me harder than how many people really show up to say like boo in the chat or whatever. But
yeah,
I mean, all of that's valuable, but yes, the player base I feel like is our biggest asset for sure.
Yeah. And I mean,
So
we have lots of people show up for all the tournaments, it seems like, and I think yours especially more because people like, this is the thing I do. I have this plan for Tuesday. This is what I'm going to do. And so that's really awesome, especially now with you growing like you are with the live stream. And I think it's awesome. So, all right, Joe, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
I was just coupled along with the origins, your Twitch. What are your origins in Dice Masters? What or who got you into Dice Masters?
Dice Masters. So it was actually probably really close. Maybe it was the following Christmas. So the stream started, you know, whatever that year was, 2012 or whatever. No, it had to be later than that. Regardless, I came home from college one year, and my brother was like, we weren't even really into board games yet. Like neither one of us were hobby board gamers before that. And he was like, dude, I heard about this game. We should get it. And I was like, I mean, I played Smash at that point, but I didn't play any board games. So it was a hard sell to be like, yeah, dude, you like build a team and you like, there's all these interactions and it's really cool. You know, explaining Dice Masters to someone who's not a gamer
Oh, that's rough.
without using, you know, if you can't hook them with the IP and if you can't hook them with the mechanics, then you're like, well,
Yeah.
You roll dice and you move them around the mat. It's really cool. You get a dice bag. Like so he was like, yeah, there's this game called Dice Masters. And long story short, we went to the game store. So this is my twin brother. So there's let's call it 19 years at that point of competitive nature between the two of us. He reaches up to the shelf, pulls off the AVX starter. I reach up to the shelf and pull off the Justice League starter.
Uh-oh.
And for the next like year of my life, I don't think I won a single game of Dice Masters.
Not with AVX versus Justice
AVX.
League.
AVX had better stuff in its starter, though, in all fairness. Justice League did not have that hottest stuff.
I mean, the Storms, the Beasts, everything was just better.
The
and
Hulks,
oh my gosh.
Compete with the Hulk.
Human
There was nothing in
Torch.
Justice League that could compete with Hulk.
Yeah, so that's where we started, and we went from there. We never, weirdly enough, we never had a crew. So like he went back to college and developed like a little bit of a local scene. I went back to college and nobody cared at all. So I again never had a local scene, but I always had his scene 2 hours south of me. So like they'd be like, hey, we're getting together to draft from this weekend. Come on down, whatever. We're gonna put together a PDC or whatever. Come on down. Eventually, we did go to a WKO in Glen Burnie, Maryland. I think that's where it was, and that was really cool. I saw Truby there, which at that time I didn't know who Truby was, but I did see him there. I got absolutely demolished at the WKO. You know, you don't know the level until you know the level, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Guy
Gardner is kind of surprising when you see it, and it actually works, and it's like, whoa.
Right. You're like, I've never even generated 20 damage. Like, I play Justice League, bro. So that was our first competitive event. And then we just kept collecting from there. His local scene, like, I actually wouldn't call it a local scene. Well, it wasn't at a store, and it wasn't supplied with game store OPs. It wasn't like they weren't really attracting any new people. He was just gathering friends. So it was like his group of friends, me 2 hours north. And then there actually was one shop that Victory Comics in Falls Church, Virginia was where I would go like when I felt like going to get a competitive whatever. Or if there was a really cool OP, I would like drive 2 hours to go play a Sunday morning game. Just kind of wild.
Wow. Dedication, folks.
It was sort of weird. We're sort of weird that way. Hashtag rural Virginia. Yeah, just kept growing from there, and eventually we went to Origins 2018. So Origins 2018 was our first big con. It was our first Nats. It was super baller. Yeah, just been going back to Origins since then. I haven't been to any other cons, but then went to Dice Masters. Well, I guess WizKids Worlds. It wasn't just Dice Masters. There was a little zone for HeroClix and a little zone for Attack Wing there as well. But
a little zone for HeroClix.
And then here I am. Just I settle back into my own 0 player base physicality, but you know. Infinitely large online base, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. The next one was you already kind of answered what caused you to drop out of the Smash community. So what are actually you mentioned starting with Justice League starter pack, but what's your favorite IP in Dice Masters?
Ooh, my favorite IP.
If you had to pick like a pet IP.
I mean, I'm a sucker for DC. And I think my favorite thematic set was World's Finest.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Good set.
Like that, I feel like World's Finest, Green Arrow, Deadpool, Batman was like those janky sets were like my heyday. But I think if I had to just pick one, it would either be World's Finest or Batman.
2016 meta was a real thing, and it was awesome.
It was wild.
All of those sets were great. World's Finest, is that Babs?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
You monster.
Yeah. Love that
Yeah.
card.
Babs and Alfred and
Yes.
Played against that enough.
Unblockable Batman.
So
yeah, Dick Grayson bomb. Ooh.
Oh yeah, you're taking me back. So you mentioned something about your locality being the issue with kind of the local scene, or the fact that there wasn't really a local scene, even whenever Trey was bringing his friends in. So moving to the now, even without the quarantine, we have something that's awesome about Dice Masters specifically, and that is the community, and more especially the online community. What are your thoughts on that? When did you get into that, and where do you see the future of the online community going?
Um
Any other thoughts you have about that?
yeah, so I mean in terms of a physical play group, I think it's really important to try. Like I know that there are people like sometimes I have to forget that not everybody is the exact same, and not everybody can just march into a game store and say like you can play Dice Masters, get over here and play with me. Like not everyone's down for that. But I do feel like regardless of your physical play group, which I would advocate for trying that first, maybe. I mean, not in lieu of, right? So don't just say like I'm only going to play online. I do think it's important to play physically. Anyway, um, the online community, yeah, I think we're in the golden age of online Dice Masters, in my opinion. I think the combination of the technology and the websites and the resources that we've gathered at this point and the ability to connect with people like outside of Dice Masters, just things such as streaming live on Twitch or, Google Hangouts rooms or Discords or whatever it is. I feel like our connectivity is at its highest point that it's been, as well as like our Dice Masters um, gusto for that sort of medium, I think, is at its highest. So I jumped in and played what was the tournament even called? It was literally called like Dice Masters Online or something. Like it was literally like the
It was
most
the
generic.
faux. Were you talking about the faux nats or the faux
I
worlds
don't,
that Troy was hosting?
I don't even remember. But I think I jumped in on just a tournament like that. I was like, I have a webcam. I can point it at the table. Which is really all you need, people, by the way.
Yeah.
But I think the Discord is probably that's probably where I would point people if they were like, I love this game. I don't have anyone to play with. I would just say, hey, join the Discord. There are so many people, whether it's the CR Game Room Discord or any other Discord. People will play games with you. And like I said, I feel like we're in the heyday. I feel honored to be a part of that. I hope I can spur it along even further. I think the return of draft packs this summer / whenever they come out.
It's really whenever we get out of quarantine, whenever this
Right.
whole thing passes. That's when they'll be
Whenever the
available.
trucks start moving again. Yeah. I hope, like even for myself, I hope that spurs along physical scenes. But then I'll always have online to like fall back on, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
I'm ready for that day to come.
Yeah, me too. I want to highlight something you said. It's always important. We don't. Yeah, we stress the online community and supporting the online community, but we also stress supporting the Dice Masters community in general, and always fostering a local scene. We've done previous streams. For those who have just checked in, we've done previous streams about building your local meta. We've had guests on who've talked about it, and making sure that you're meeting people and you're playing Dice Masters face to face, because there's a lot of things that you're unable to track when you're doing online games, like capturing dice or just heist in general, or cards that interact with other people's dice that aren't your own. Those are kind of harder to track online, and you get a better sense of what all's there if you're playing a person to person game. So yeah, we recommend doing that first, trying to foster local scene. Obviously not during the quarantine, but we still recommend going out and supporting the online community just as much,
Yeah.
because there's things that both can bring you. It's just like two sides of the same coin, two different sides of the same coin. And the online community connects you with more voices that may or may not be different, and also you'll learn stuff.
Yep.
You'll learn more about the game.
You'll learn a lot from the online community. Um, oh, hold on, sorry, my bad. Yeah, you'll learn a lot from playing with people online. You just get different perspectives, different ideas. They'll just get your brain going and the wheels turning on team building. Just looking at cards in a different light that you would have thought they were trash cards, and all of a sudden they're turning into win cons, or they just totally change the type of team that you're building and stuff like that. You bounce those ideas off of everybody, and it's amazing. Like, I know Joe said this, and obviously working with the world champ like Ben, you're going to learn some things, but like you learn a lot from people like Ben, and people that are champions are accessible,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yep.
and they're available and they'll help you out. You ask a question, they'll respond. So it's really cool.
And they'll be thoughtful in their responses too, and not just
For
like,
sure.
no, that's a garbage thing. Don't do that. I mean, he says that to us because he's just mean to us, but he's not mean to
Yeah,
anyone else.
Right. And
we deserve it.
I think that's another cool thing about our community online is like I would say that there's an equal number of people that are out there to win games, and there's an equal number of people that are out there that are just want to play games. They don't care how competitive they are. They don't care win or loss. They don't care if they have to walk you through every play.
Yeah.
Like they just want to play games. And I think that's like somebody was saying in the chat, like not every game has an online community like that. You know, there's other places where it's just they smell blood in the water and they're like, there's noobs here. I need to pad my weird leaderboard stats by like crushing or whatever else, you know. It's so I think it's pretty cool.
There has been that in the past with Dice Masters, but I don't think there's that anymore.
No, the leaderboard means the leaderboard is just like the points and whose line is it, and is it anyway? It means nothing.
Like how many dice fights have you played?
How many dice fights have I played?
No, I was saying the
Oh,
leaderboard
yeah.
because I think they're the only people that are documenting events.
Oh yeah. Well, so on that note though,
We are now.
we are tracking our championship, and that's actually why we have the invitationals. I'm a very competitive-minded person, so whenever we started this whole thing, I was like, let's do seasons, and then Chris was like, yeah, that's what I was thinking, and so we just kind of snowballed from there. We got the data together, and we do have a leaderboard now. So
Holla.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
okay, so one more question, and then we can go off the cuff here. Actually, no, I don't know. It's you. It's on you, bud. We pretty much already wrapped up everything that we needed to ask, and then you guys, it's open. I'm gonna shut up now.
We had the investigative journalist of Ross here to really hit the hard questions.
That's right. I wrote them all down. No, one of my questions was that I know that the three of you play Magic the Gathering, and as a person who has played very minimal, I was wondering if there are any mechanics in that game that you especially like that either do or don't have a parallel mechanic in Dice Masters. If that makes sense.
Scry. Scry is one of my favorite mechanics in Magic, and there's not real. You can already look at your dice in your bag, so Scry has no translated thing to Dice Masters, and that's one of my favorite Magic mechanics. There's a lot of other mechanics in Magic that kind of are similar because I mean everyone's kind of following suit with Magic and mechanics in a way.
Yeah, like there's Overcrush and Trample in Magic are the same thing, and that's something that I enjoy doing. I like getting beefy boys out there if I'm playing Dice Masters or Magic. It's one of my favorite things to do. Then there's Deadly and Death Touch are the same things. You get an interaction with something and that creature dies, right?
Yeah, not
It's not
so much,
exactly.
but yeah,
It's similar. Yeah, the creature dies, and so it's like I like that. Like get rid of whatever. So
I like that.
those are some. Yeah, I like that.
Lifelink is something that I want to see incorporated into Dice Masters, giving characters the ability to gain you life equal to the amount of damage they do is the equivalent to
Oh
Magic's
yeah.
Lifelink, where the creatures, whenever they deal damage, they is haste
Yes.
similar to fast is actually first strike in Magic.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
So the crappy thing about Dice Masters is that all your characters basically have haste, because in Magic there's a thing called Summoning Sickness where when the creature hits the field, if it hasn't been around for a full turn rotation, then it cannot tap to attack or tap to activate its abilities. The one mechanic that I do want to see incorporated into Dice Masters is lifelink, but the one that's my favorite right now is actually corrupt, and that is technically scry, because you can pull the dice out of your bag. So scry does exist in Dice Masters, they just haven't given it a formal name outside of corrupt.
Yeah, and that's really you can
Because you're determining your draws based off of that information.
your
and you can
draws
just
are your
remove-
opponents, where scry is only yours.
No, well, scry and fate seal are the same
Yeah.
thing. It just depends on who your target is. Corrupt is just those two things in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So I do like corrupt. I just wish that Dice Masters kind of they came real close with the Riddler that punishes you for rerolls, and they came real close with Tabashi Rogue. I wish Dice Masters would incorporate different ways to deal damage based off of things outside of combat damage or direct damage. Like you draw a card, you get damaged. You reroll, you get damaged. You purchase something, you take the damage for purchasing that specific thing. Like if there was a card that said like whenever an opponent purchases a basic action or a non-basic action, they take 2 damage. You have something similar with Banshee for drawing basic actions, but you don't have something similar for purchasing.
You could tell Joe's the monster in our group by the way he talks that he wishes stuff would do stuff.
Well, I mean, just different stuff than turning dudes sideways and being faced.
Yeah.
Like I wish you would die from drawing dice. I wish you would die from rolling dice. I wish you would.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Joe.
I mean, when you have a game like Dice Masters where all the information is known and you can use other people's resources as your own in the form of globals and basic actions, you really do have to start thinking outside of the box, because if you narrow yourself down to what's on the playmat, and instead of adding static abilities that challenge the basics of the mechanics, then you're not going to go anywhere with the game. It's not going to evolve.
Yeah.
So what's the group consensus? Well, it doesn't have to be consensus. Down the line, though, how would you feel if they added an alternate win condition to Dice Masters?
I'd be the first to play it.
I think it'd be interesting.
I'd be for it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be, but I'm for any kind of way to win. In Magic, there's ways to win by milling yourself and not drawing cards. There's ways to win if you get a certain life point total, doing alternate kinds of damage, different things like that. Like Infect would be kind of cool with Dice Masters, something like that. But I'd be for it.
In fact, I'm a scrub.
So Infect is
the worst mechanic in Magic, in my opinion.
It really is. So Infect, you can in Magic you can die from having 10 or more Infect counter or poison counters. Creatures with Infect deal damage to other creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters, which is something I wish Dice Masters would incorporate as well. Like active counters determining the plus or minus to your stats, attack or defense. Oh, aside from that, if you take damage from a creature with Infect, you don't lose life, you gain poison counters. And then, like I said, once you reach 10, you're just dead. The game's over. You lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
So giving characters that ability, and it doesn't even have to be like multiple characters. It's just like if Thanos attacks you and it's the 3rd time he would deal combat damage to you, you lose the game. That would be amazing.
And the reason that I hate Infect so much is because me and Mike have practiced a lot, and he plays a lot of Infect, and it's really hard to beat it 1-on-1. And
Light Steel Colossus for the win.
And then when we played our last Along Came a Commander, he killed me with the poison and no one else, and it was just like, all right, that's not how I wanted to go out, but okay. Oh, I hate that mechanic.
So from a game design standpoint, I feel like there's a lot more that Dice Masters can do, and even borrowing from Magic the Gathering, as they've done. They've even done so in this next set with certain mechanics that they have, certain new mechanics. Hello, babe. She's poking her head out there. I mean, I just think that they can evolve the game from what it is right now, because tokens are great, but we need to go beyond that.
Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra. Got it. Nailed it.
Plus Ultra.
All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.
So, yeah. Do you got any other questions for us, Ross, or anything else?
I mean, when you guys play Super Smash Brothers, who do you play?
Oh,
That's real
Rob,
talk.
Rob doesn't play.
Which version?
I'm not a Smash Bros. Player.
I mean, give me the list. It doesn't even matter.
Smash 64. I main Pikachu. Melee. I main Marth. Smash 4. I main Charizard, but my secondary is Villager. And then Ultimate, my main is Inkling, and then my secondary is Villager.
Solid. Chris?
I have not played that much Smash, but when I do, I play the big bad guy from Zelda Ganondorf or whatever.
Ganondorf.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I really like playing him, and if you play him right, he's agile in certain ways, and he'll catch you off guard and knock you off the platform pretty easily, but he's very hard to play as playing the character. So that's the one I play, and Rob does not play.
No, I'm playing. I'm usually the giant hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll just pick anyone random. I'll pick like Link or
That's
Ryu or Ken or whoever's there because I like Street Fighter. I used to play a lot of Street Fighter growing up, so
Ooh,
but that's it. Yeah, Street Fighter Alpha 2. That's my game.
man, one time I drove like an hour for a Craigslist deal to get a fight stick from this lady for my Xbox. And then I played literally like 14 minutes of Street Fighter, and I was like, I'm done with this. I can't do it.
I'll tell you who's champion on the sticks. Mike is a champion on the sticks, bro. And then also Ryan has his own set of sticks. He's like, man. Marvel versus Capcom 2 and 3 are my jam.
Yeah,
Those are fun to watch.
Street Fighter Alpha 2 is my game.
So, what are you? Well, actually, who do you main in? I know who you main in Smash 4. You can let the audience know, but who have you been tinkering with in Smash Ultimate?
I played Donkey Kong exclusively in Smash 4, and then I played Donkey Kong in Ultimate.
Don't get my hopes up.
And then I actually play Rob when I need to actually win games because Donkey Kong's not very good.
Bro, so your camp game is strong. Is that what you're telling me? You like the cheese? You love the cheese.
We'll call it ledge trap. My ledge trapping game is on fire.
At least you're not Diddy. At least you're not maining Diddy in either of those games.
No, I didn't do all that. No, I played. I mean, Donkey Kong, sort of like Chris was saying. Like, I just like to play somebody who's, when I get a hit, like you're gonna feel it. Like it's gonna be impactful in many ways, emotionally and physically. But Donkey Kong not known for winning too many games in Smash 4 or in Smash Ultimate. I mean, he's mid-tier.
He's actually a little bit higher up in Smash 4 than he is in Ultimate. It's just Ultimate's they for some reason, well, I know why, but they sped up the game. And it's just like
grappling is not as good.
And they literally have every character from ever except for Waluigi Waluigi, and that's such
oh my god!
Such
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Wow. I knew about that. I knew about that meme from the speedrunning days. I used to watch a ton of speedrunning back in the day. Games done quick, summer and autumn. That's my jam.
I did some Mario 64 speedruns back in the day.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember.
Only 16 star. I wasn't a big boy. I didn't jump up to 50 star or 120, but
I've seen a couple of your speedrunning streams. It was pretty nice. It was nice watching you kind of like break off the cobwebs there.
Rusty.
I never played that Mario game.
Yeah.
I didn't. The 3D thing just threw me off, man. Like when things started going in 3D, I just couldn't do it no more. I don't know what it was.
My games have to be in 2D.
2D side-scrolling action. Damn it!
Give
That's
me
what
that
I want.
32-bit or
That's right. Run and jump. Run, jump.
Exactly.
Run, jump.
That was it. All I need is B and A, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
You damn kids in your 4K resolution.
Damn
Your
right.
camera manipulation.
In my day, we had to scroll on the side.
That's how you do it. It's a legitimate strategy.
Ross, any other questions from you, sir?
Can't think of any right now.
Okay, well,
Cool.
I think
I'll
I
ask
do have
a question for you, Ross.
Yeah.
So when we started playing, Chris and I, when we started streaming our videos, we did the two team takedown format. It was, we worked it out, ironed out all the kinks with DM Armada, and we were wondering what your thoughts were on the actual two team takedown format.
I think that format is so fun. I think it requires players to play, first off, different teams than they would otherwise, and then second off, you also have to strategize about your matchups are way more important, and your, like, there's so much more on the line for winning, let's say game one, than if you were just going to play a best of 3 with the same team. So it's, I think it adds a whole nother layer in a good way to the game. I think it doesn't add a whole lot of extra, like, management on the front end. Like, you fill out a team sheet for both teams, so what? But like, in terms of running the event, like if we're going to play a large scale event of two team takedown in person, like, it wouldn't add that much to the management side of the game, which I think is like, you can't say that about a lot of other formats of the game, or like in other games when you switch up the format, like we were talking Keyforge a while ago. But like, as soon as you switch up the format in Keyforge, the games increase exponentially of how long they take. And I feel like two team doesn't really do that, which is sick. And again, I think it switches up the meta. You can't just stack one team full of all your big boy hitters.
You'll lose.
You will lose. You will lose every time.
And I think that was one of the things that turns people off about it, is that it does take a long time, but it takes a long time when the list is restricted. So when we're doing legacy, yes, it does take a while. When it's unlimited, when we can do modern formats, it's a quick game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it's creative.
Legacy, we went to more times than any other tournament that we've ever run. But when it's just a regular vanilla two team takedown modern, they usually get done pretty quickly within the standards of a regular best of 3 matchup, in my opinion. I've been preaching to the choir. These two team takedown can be. Well, I've been preaching, saying that two team takedown can be played in a live tournament setting. It just takes effort, time, and understanding of what you're doing.
Amen, brother. Preach.
I mean, it can't be much more convoluted than the tiebreaker rules on a Swiss round,
Don't even get us started on that. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I feel you on that one. That's Worlds. That's Memphis right there talking.
I mean, it's fine, but I agree. I think that two team takedown as a format, again, it adds way more than it detracts from the game. And I think, again, I don't know what the if anybody's run the numbers, I'm sure someone has, but like, the meta becomes so destabilized by having to think about both of your teams at the exact same time than it does. Like, sure, if you just told somebody, all right, you just need to bring two of your best teams and play games, like, that's still not even telling the whole story about, like, well, you have to win with both your teams, and you have to, like, depending on whether you win or lose, you might have decisions that you wouldn't otherwise have. So yeah, I think it's sweet. I think I would agree. If somebody told me we're hosting a giant two team takedown, I'd be like, well, that's, sign me up.
Hashtag two team takedown at Worlds.
At Worlds,
I think I'm the only one doing that hashtag, honestly.
I mean, so that's the other thing, kind of back to like the online community. If you said, listen, folks, convention center closes at whatever time, at 9:00, you're going to meet at the Memphis Tamale Wagon out front of the Exxon station, and we're gonna go back and play a two team takedown, 32-man bracket. Like, the word would spread enough. It's not like, I mean, sure, I would love it to be an official side event, but even if somebody just told me, like, hey, I heard this is happening, like, I'd be there. So.
We're still we're actively working on getting it trimmed down, because you can't have 5 rounds at an hour and a half each. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to work with the timing on that. But we do feel like it's a strong format. it's able to, it's sustainable in its own right and able to be played as a strong side event. More so, I believe, more so than 10 by 10 or even global escalation. Definitely has a lot more layers, like you were saying.
Right. The depth of the game is bigger, but
All right. So I think we're going to get into a little bit of a cleanup phase here. We have the sign up for the 2-team takedown that you have to sign up today. You may have actually had to sign up by now. We have 12 people in it right now. There's still room. Please join it. You have to have your team in by this Friday, but the matches will not be played until Monday, I believe. I think.
Yeah, pairings are going live Monday. So that's the key difference. You can sign up right now, even if you're still on the fence about teams, which most people are. And I'm speaking specifically to you, Ross, because I remember you mentioning something about you were
Calling you
tinkering with.
out.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, it's more for your benefit. You were saying that you were struggling with 1.5 teams, and a lot of people are. Honestly, that's why we're only showing 12 right now. But you can sign up for right now, and then that gives you 3 days to work on your teams and kind of fine tune them before
By
Friday.
Friday. Yep.
did we? I mean, there was a bracket cap at one point. Is there still a cap somewhere?
That's
No,
for the one shot.
We don't. Yeah, that's just for the one shots.
Oh, no cap, huh?
No cap. As many people can join as they want. Yeah.
I was literally about to say the next phrase after that.
Yeah, I think, and Joe, I think in the same conversation we were talking about, there's so many people struggling with narrowing down to 2 teams that they're in the next 48 hours. There's going to be so many practice games. I feel like if you posted right this second in the Discord and said, "Hey, I want to practice for 2-team takedown," like
There's been
there'd be
people that
somebody.
were doing that before the stream
Mhm.
started.
Exactly. They're out there. And I get up at whatever time in the morning and there's people across the pond playing 5 or 6 hours ahead of me. And it's like, they're ready to play at 9 or 10 in the morning. So, yeah, all hours you could drum something up.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, 72 hours in quarantine is a lot. That's a lot more time than 72 hours outside of
Mhm.
quarantine. So the option is always there. But like I said, or like Chris said, signups are tonight, midnight, I believe, is whenever they close.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we will be looking at entrance. But and again, you don't have to have the team links ready or the team list ready. You just have to be in and signed up.
Yep.
So in theory, if someone were to sign up and then not be confident in finding their 2 teams,
You can just let us know.
And just
Yeah.
drop. Yeah. No harm, no foul.
So yeah, before Friday or on Friday even,
Friday
because
by midnight. Yeah.
pairings won't go out until Monday, so that gives us pretty much 2 days to decide, like, okay, so and so hasn't finalized their team yet, or so and so doesn't have a team, so let's go ahead and drop so we can do better brackets and better pairings.
Yeah. It gives us time to clean up for Monday just to make sure everyone has proper teams submitted, that there's not any duplicate cards on there, which everyone's within the rules and stuff like that, and get all like the channels set up properly for Monday.
And we get time to
So-
work with the bot to get everything done. That's mostly
the biggest thing.
those damn robots, they're so hard to get along with.
They'll get you.
Yeah.
So, on the line of our tournaments, this is just so everybody knows, this is modern post rotation. So it's
Mhm.
as of the ban list is
It's the
as
May
of
1st rotation.
May 1st rotation.
Yep.
And it's completely open, meaning that there will be competitive teams. We wanted to do it in the spirit of Origins, to help people practice and gear up for Origins that would be or still could be. We just don't know at what phase they're at yet. Stay tuned. You'll find out more information April 31st. So we wanted to let everybody know that even if you bring a casual team, just be prepared to see some Becky Lynches, multiple Becky Lynches,
God
even,
catchers.
and some God catchers. So just be prepared for that. We don't condone any competitive behavior, but we do know that there will be competitive behavior.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When we first started doing this 2-team format, it was just like we could build 2 fun teams and have fun with it and play each other. We never thought everyone would just like play the most ridiculous teams, and it's just kind of worked out that way. And I'm fine with it. It just is very awkward when we from what we first started out with.
Yeah, and I think that also just goes to show that you don't have to run the same cards in every single team.
Mm-hmm.
You can have super strong teams and have different cards. You don't need to have Shriek Sonic Beam on both teams. You know what I mean? Or
But you
have
can.
Mimic Ramp on both teams.
Ooh.
So stuff like that. Uh, so one more question for you, Ross. Like we've been doing these one shots on Saturdays. How would you? And I know there's also the team of the month going on another Saturday. But what would you think about us like expanding to do another different one shot, like twice a month? I guess two shot, double
Two
shots,
shots,
double
double
shots,
barreled.
double barrel action.
I mean, in quarantine, I think like events have been filling. Like I think it's been sort of wild. I know, like let's say at the beginning of the year, so January, February, like even the WDA stats were dipping super low into like almost unplayable numbers. But I have not seen any. I've not seen an event that tried to fire that hasn't fired in like 2 months.
Yeah,
So like I would say I think people are down. I think it might come down to, so like if you do two per month, it comes down to, do you post them both at the same time? You know, like do you there does come a point of, well, I will play this one, but I won't play that one. You know, it's like
yeah,
you know, you can only put aside so many Saturday mornings. But I think the time is ripe right now. I think that in terms of, again, the best times for it to give it a go, I'd say this is it. So
yeah, and it'd definitely just be a quarantine sort of thing until everyone can get back to whatever the new normal is. So last week we sent out a survey, and I got a decent amount of responses, and it's showing 77% of the community that did respond is in favor of expanding. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that, guys. I guess later on this week and see how we want to proceed with that
I
if we
mean,
do.
not only did we put the one shot on and we streamed it and everything like that, but after that, I spent almost the whole entire day cutting that thing up, editing it,
Yeah,
getting ready
that
to
was a
put it.
long Saturday.
So
Yeah,
imagine double
Yikes.
that work for our poor editor, Chris.
I liked it
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
So-
post production, not my strong suit.
not mine
I like
either.
to wave. I like to wave my hands around, kind of be really loud, and then just straight export. Just get it out of here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, the work was not unnoticed. Sorry, Joe.
Bodie, to answer your question, it being a different day would play strongly into how many one shots we could hold
Mhm.
in a month. That would actually be a very strong kind of decision maker for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably going
Um,
to be the next survey would be what day would work best for everybody. Because I know for us, it's kind of the reason we have it on Saturdays is because it's easier for us to include the UK players by having it earlier in the day. Chris works 12-hour days, and I'm not out till later in the afternoon. So we'd have to do it at night. And sometimes that just doesn't work out for everyone.
Yeah. So
one more thing, Ross, we'd love to have you in the booth with us in those one shots or even the 2-team takedowns. So
At least for a match or two if you want.
I
You
would
don't have to
love
stay all
that.
day.
Like I said, I think the co-commentary model is super good, and I think I would be honored
Oh,
to be in.
Well, I think that's actually, I don't enjoy the competitive playing so much as I enjoy the competitive commentary of it. I mean, you cannot keep me out of the booth. Um, and in fact,
we've tried.
yes, they've tried. My wife has tried. She looked over at me and she's like, "Honey, it's noon on a Saturday and your kids want to do something with you," and I'm just like, "No, no, 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 no."
Not today.
But no, like just being in the booth and commentating is what I love the most about being with you guys in the game room, and also
Aw.
what I like about hearing your streams and the WDA, Russ, especially marbles. It gets turned up. Speaking of which,
Lit AF.
one more announcement to sign us out, Russ. What is going on this week and next week on your side?
That's right, folks. So this Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have another marble racing stream on
I have the sound effects here, sorry.
on the regular Final Ross Battle Twitch channel. And then we'll be back as our normal Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, with the final farewell to 2019. We are going to be playing top-notch, top-tier, cutthroat 2019 teams. So bring your grossest collectors and let's make this thing happen. It's gonna be cool. I'm actually excited to see. Like there was sort of a lull in the middle there of where I feel like people are building recently. They're building from the super new sets, and I feel like a year ago people were building from the super old sets of 2019 Modern. And I think it's going to be interesting to see if the old blood can hang with the new blood sort of thing. So it's going to be wild.
Try Hard Tuesday.
Oh, so.
That's right. Mark your calendars. Try Hard Tuesday for sure.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, we appreciate you being on with us, Russ. We appreciate everything you do and everything you do for the community. And everyone give them a follow, a subscribe if you can on Twitch. I don't know how Twitch works. I'll just say words and they sound right in my brain.
That's all good.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, man. I appreciate it.
Heck yeah. Thanks for having me on. And, I hope we get to hang out this summer sometime for sure. That'd be a true blast.
Kroger
real
name staring
Memphis
beer
barbecue.
Yeah. Hey, the Return of the Nine. We might see a Return of the Memphis Nine.
It'll be Memphis
tamales,
8.
baby.
No Memphis tamales wrapped in paper.
No tamales.
Oh my god.
It's probably gonna be Memphis 8.
Yeah, Dan's got a
Dan's got a kid on the way. That's right.
Yeah.
Congrats to him, by the way.
Shout outs.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep, congrats, Dan.
Yeah, probably.
I
not
was just
watching.
thinking, I was like, didn't he already have it? Like, I was thinking, I think.
No, he barely announced if it was a boy or girl. So.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
They had a quarantine reveal.
I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah,
it was
That's awesome.
So,
all right, much love to everybody out there in the community. And thanks for coming on, Ross.
Yeah, heck yeah.
bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
That's going to wrap things up for us here in the CR Game Room. Check out our website, crgr.rocks, for all our latest info. There you'll find a link to help support us via Patreon. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Join our conversations on Discord. Be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for hanging out.